Hello, welcome to Keg That's YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about this yeast, Saftlager S189. I'm sure many people watching this will know about Fermentis, their yeast US05, and the cousin to this yeast, W3470, is kind of a workhorse of both home brewing and commercial brewing. But this yeast is fairly overlooked, and I have seen it get mixed reviews online. However, if you know how to use it and you know the context that it's supposed to be used in, it makes a fantastic beer. So the way that Saftlager explain it is fairly neutral with high drinkability. It has low esters, high attenuation of around 80 to 84%, and it has notable herbal and floral notes. Some of that I disagree with, and I'll explain why. But this is a Swiss lager yeast from a Swiss brewery, and it's supposed to make Swiss lagers. I'm not really sure what Swiss lagers are. I mean, there isn't really a BJCP category for it, and the Swiss lagers that I've had taste extremely similar to a Munich Helles or German Pilsner kind of beer. I've been brewing with this yeast fairly extensively. I made a video actually of a real lager brew, which I will link to below, and I fermented it with this yeast, and you can watch that video to get a bit more of an understanding of the context of how this yeast was used. I've done pressure ferments with this yeast, and I have done just regular ferments with this, and it has behaved more or less the same either way. Putting it under pressure doesn't really make that much difference, I found. So the first beer that I made was a pressure fermented beer with it, which was a Vienna lager. So I fermented the Vienna lager with this yeast, and it was under pressure, and it was perhaps just below room temperature, and it threw out all these esters. So when it says it's low ester production, not necessarily, because there were huge pear flavors, apple flavors, berry flavors, and they were really nice, but not really what I would want in a Vienna lager. However, it still kept really punchy malt flavors, so the malt came through really well, and it had a really nice crisp finish. And that is really what you want in a lager. And that makes me think this would be an excellent yeast for a hoppy lager. Those fruit esters stayed there for some time, and with a hoppy lager, you kind of want to drink it fresh because those hop characteristics will start to fade over time. And so these esters will really make that beer shine, as well as making sure that the malts are still coming through and it still has that lager mouthfeel and the crispness that you expect from a lager. With the real Pilsner that I made with it, I did lager it for a long period of time, so over a month. And during that time, the esters really did fade. And by the time I got drinking it, there were still really big floral and herbal flavors in it, and there still are now. But those fruity esters have completely disappeared. So if you want to make more of a traditional lager with this yeast, it will work really well, but it will need to be lagered. And if you want to make a traditional lager with this, it's going to be really good for more of the German pale lager type, so like a Munich Helles or Munich Helles and a German Pils and that sort of thing. And the reason being is because with a high attenuation of up to 84%, it's going to really dry the beer out. And those lagers, German lagers, tend to be drier than, say, a Czech Pils, which has actually got a bit more body to it. It also has herbal and floral esters that come out quite strong. And they do kind of round off over time, but they're there. And I've got my Pilsner on tap, and they're still there. And it goes really well in a German-style Pils, because in a German-style Pils, the hop characteristic is supposed to be quite strong. And they use old world hops, which are basically floral and herbal. So it really goes well in that kind of beer. So, in conclusion, if you want to make a pseudo lager or a Czech Pils or a kind of California common, this isn't going to be the correct yeast for you. This, however, will be an excellent yeast, and in fact I would strongly recommend using this if you want to make a hoppy lager, if you want to make a traditional German style lager as well. This is going to be really, really good. It's going to add flavours in that something like W3470 isn't going to give you. I can understand why it's got kind of mixed reviews, but I don't think it's been used properly. I think if it's used properly and in the right context, it is an excellent yeast. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, please do like and please subscribe. I've put links below if you want to get a sachet of this yeast and try it yourself. I would say that if you want to do a 20 to 25 litre lager brew at lager temperatures, 2 sachets would be recommended over 1. Please comment below if you've used this yeast. I'd be really interested to hear what your experiences with it are, and if you've got any questions about it, then please don't hesitate to ask in the comments as well. Thank you for watching.